So I want to welcome everyone first to Cultivating a Successful Student Journey. We've got a couple of great presenters that I'll introduce to you. First, I'll go with Glenn Foreman. Glenn Foreman has over 20 years of results-oriented sales experience in the areas of enterprise solutions, hosted and managed services, and infrastructure services. He has a proven track record of managing large, complex sales cycles with Fortune 500 organizations. Glenn has been with Anthology since 2013, consulting with state, college, and university leadership on the development and execution of their strategic initiatives and ensures that clients' goals and objectives are aligned with Anthology's mission. Glenn holds a BA from Northeastern University, Boston, Massachusetts, and is a certified scuba instructor. He lives in Palm Beach Gardens, where he pursues his other passion in life, introducing people to the amazing underwater world. Welcome, Glenn.
Thank you.
We also have with us Raymond Todd Blackwood. He has spent over 20 years inventing technology solutions that run college campuses. His passion for technology and bringing people together to create efficiencies on college campuses can be heard on a variety of webinars, podcasts, papers, and presentations throughout the world. In his current role, Vice President of Product Management for Anthology, Ray oversees the operate to lead set of products and services, which include the Student Information System and Higher Ed ERP. Raymond holds an MBA in Technology Management and lives in Boca Raton, Florida, with his wife, Catherine, daughters, Alabama and Samantha, and dog Cooper. Welcome, Ray. And next we have Jennifer Beyer. Dr. Jennifer Beyer is the Vice President of Product Management with Anthology, focused on solutions that optimize relationships between the institution and their community. After working at both Hillsborough Community College and the University of South Florida, Jennifer took her background in enrollment management and student success to developing solutions that assist institutions in leveraging technologies to meet their strategic goals. Jennifer holds a doctorate in education administration and lives in Fairfax, Virginia with her husband and son. Welcome, Dr. Beyer. Glenn, I think I'll turn it over to you now.
Great. Thank you very much, Charlie. Thank you, everybody. We're excited about being here. This afternoon, we're going to be doing a presentation on a few of our products that we thought you would find interesting, our solutions. Before we do that, I'm going to take a few minutes at the front end to just talk a little bit about Anthology, give you an understanding of who we are. So if you look at our mission statement, and you can read that, but the top line kind of, I think, encapsulates who we are. We exist to help higher education advance and thrive. So a few key items that I'd like to convey to you about Anthology. We are a Florida-based company. We're located in Boca Raton. We've been in business for over 31 years, and all that we do is service higher education. There is nothing else that we're concerned about. It's the sole focus of our company, our solutions, and of our people. Every line of code that we write and every person that works for Anthology is dedicated to higher education and working with our customers and our partners. That's another aspect of it. Every employee is also an Anthology employee. So as I like to call it, you have one hand to shake. Unlike some of our competitors where you may be dealing with third-party providers, we subscribe to where we want to have that direct relationship and partnership with you. So some of the things that we do is we empower higher education institutions to drive transformational change and meaningful experiences for their constituents. And one of our key focuses is on state and community colleges. This is a space that we feel very strongly about. We feel that we have the ability to provide real solutions and provide transformational change to help you with your goals and objectives. Some of the areas in our solutions, and we'll be showing that a little bit later in the presentation, is around guided pathways, academic progress, degree audit, retention, completion, and workforce development. So, as you can see on the next slide, there are 3 companies that make up Anthology, and it's actually a joining or a merger of 3 companies. Campus Management, which is our enterprise legacy company, Campus Labs, and iModules. And these are the three companies that make us up. So who are we? What is it about us that makes us who we are? The three companies have joined on July 7th. It was a merger. We want to make sure that everybody understands that this was a coming together of three companies that we feel have equal solutions and capability to provide as a combination. So the sum is greater than the parts are greater than the sum of the sum, if I'm saying it correctly. We'll get to that. So who are we? We have a combined footprint of over 2,100 colleges and universities, and we are represented in over 30 international locations. So what are the solution areas that we look at? So when you look at this, and as we click on this slide, you'll see that the three companies combine to make all of these different solutions. So if you look at Campus Management, which is the enterprise solution provider in our division, we focus in on CRM, student information systems, finance, HR, and payroll. The Campus Labs is one of our departmental solution providers, and they look at student success, retention, and institutional effectiveness. And iModules focuses on alumni and advancement relations. So if you look at us, you have these three different companies that come together. We've merged into one, and as you can see, we provide a full suite of products and solutions or portfolio that we feel will allow you to really look at us as a provider on a long-term basis. So in conclusion, what does this really mean? So as I mentioned before, Anthology is greater than the sum of the parts. And what does this really mean? So I'd like to leave you with a few of these parting thoughts. Anthology is transforming the industry. We do deliver integrated solutions that will empower you and our customers to provide positively impact your learners, administrators, and staff. Anthology is expanding our impact. We are positioned to address the needs of your constituents by integrated and data-driven solutions. And most importantly, and I think this is one of the things that I would like you to take away, we are totally committed and we are passionate about cultivating and delivering a successful student journey. So in that, I will turn it over to either Ray or Dr. Beyer, and we can go forward. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So as Glenn was talking about, the forming of the three companies allows us to build this connected campus. Where I come from, Campus Management, which was the creator of a student information system and ERP, gave us a lot of connections to the underlying core data systems to sort of run the administrative parts of the institution. But now we're able to expand around enhancing strategic planning, improving student-centric focus, unifying all of our operations, and ultimately to break down silos. And what we're able to do is we're able to connect all of this information together, from the processes to the operations to the analytics to the insights, and working together not just with your staff and administration on providing the tools that they need to do their job, but also to understand the experiences that the students are having while they're in school, and the classrooms and clubs and organizations as they interact with their peers, and taking all of this data and using it to provide a much better experience for how to build relations with them and connect with them. I'm going to go on to the next slide. So the Anthology suite of products actually manages the entire student life cycle, from the moment that students begin to explore programs at your institutions, as you begin to advise them, the courses that they take, the learning that happens in the classroom, the learning that happens outside, the skills that they cultivate, the experiences that they have with their teachers and with their peers, allowing them to grow and ultimately to advance in order to become productive members of society outside of your institution, but able to give back, both in establishing how they further your brand, as well as how they can give back and mentor your community moving forward. And again, all of this, the operations, the process, and analytics allows for innovation at your institution in ways that other vendors have never been able to do before, because we're able to connect and bring all this data and experiences together. So now I'll hand it over to Dr. J, and she's going to talk about the student journey.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. And it's really nice to be with all of you, even if I'm the only one who is experiencing a cool fall day. So, as we talk about the foundation, for us at Anthology, as Glenn mentioned, higher ed is really our focus. And in order for us to achieve our goals, and which is helping you achieve yours, we really try to keep the student at the center of everything that we do. And so, while we would love to think that our students all follow a linear path to success, we know that that is often not the case. We see that they might start and stop. We know that we certainly want them to come back to reskill and retool. But regardless of if this is a linear path or one that might evolve and change over time, students often touch these critical points, right? They expect that they're receiving information at a time and through a channel with information that is relevant for them to help drive them to their next decision point. We know that they need support, and for us as practitioners in the field and for your folks who are on campus, as much as we always want to congratulate ourselves sometimes at knowing that, yes, we have a lot of resources that are here for our students, time and time again, we hear that students just don't know what's available for them. They don't know where to go when they're struggling, when they need help, often until it's too late. And then most importantly, we know that we need to skill our students and prepare them for life outside of our classroom. And so how do we help them make very clear connections between their coursework, their co-curricular experiences, and the skills that we know that employers are demanding? And so over the next few minutes, what I want to do is walk you through a high level of the way that the Anthology solution set can help to create this robust student experience and help you to really foster that connected campus. So let's start where many of your students start, candidly where some of us still are, right? What do I want to be when I grow up? And how can I find a degree, a certificate, coursework that will help me to achieve that goal? So we leverage a solution that we call Occupation Insight. And what this does, you'll see this manifested at a couple of different points in this afternoon's presentation, is it gives your students the ability to explore what does it take to earn a degree? What are the kinds of courses that I'll be taking? What are the skills that I can learn? And what does the job outlook look like? If I'm a student who wants to stay in the Panhandle, and how can I make sure that I'm pursuing a degree path that has career opportunities for me where I live? Once that student identifies their potential path, they've understood what kinds of degrees might be available for me, what kinds of courses should I be taking. Of course, the next step happens where they start to raise their hand. They raise their hand and they tell you that they're interested in learning more, they're interested in enrolling. And we want to make tools that, one, present a experience that is consistent with the rest of your institutional brand and profile. But most importantly for your students, we want to ensure that that system is accessible so that they can access it from a cell phone, which we know for many of our students is their only form of internet connectivity. We need to give them the ability to start and come back, right? Maybe they've started their application, they need to walk away, they need to get information from somebody else, they get nervous. And so they are able to come back. But the beauty, as we'll see in a few minutes, is as soon as they start to engage with you, that creates that person record that enables your frontline staff to be able to start those communications. And speaking of communications, never have we understood how important it is that we have multiple channels and multiple ways to engage with our students. Yes, they really are still reading email. Yes, they still want that information to come to them through email, through text, through chatbots. But they want to make sure these students really are focused on, does this information apply to me? Am I learning something new? And is there a very clear call to action? And when we know students need help, because we know that they will, they're not always going to raise their hand. They don't always know where to go. But what we want to do is surface for them front and center, who are the people that are in their neighborhood? Who are the critical folks that are part of their success network, their advisors, their trio counselors, their coaches if they're on an athletics program, right? Who are the people that are there to provide support, and how do we provide them a way to quickly connect through appointments, as an example. Now, when it comes to your staff, we want to give them a solution that integrates and connects with many of the tools that they're already used to today. So for example, you'll see that many of our solutions are built using Microsoft technology. And what you see on the screen in front of you is a capture of an Outlook. Now, in this and seeing how when Jason emails his advisor, Mr. Davis is actually able to see information about Jason even within his email box. And this helps to drive a more pointed and a more intentional conversation. Now, I've talked a lot about data, and I've talked a lot about cultivating this person record. And this is how you might interact with it. And so as Jason starts to develop a relationship with your institution, we're going to learn information from forms that Jason fills out. We're going to ingest data from your student information system. There's information that's typically coming from an LMS about his course activity, right? There are a number of sources that already exist on campus, but are very decentralized and very siloed. And so if I can combine all of this information into one place, imagine the deeper conversation that your faculty and staff can have with your students, and how can they use that information to have a more focused and targeted conversation. As Jason continues to persist, that record continues to round out. And as Glenn mentioned, one of our core competencies and focus is this idea of guided pathways. And for us, guided pathways is more than just degree planning, although I'll talk about that in a minute. It's all of the co-curricular, both activities and requirements that students need to meet to stay on track. And whatever that track is, whether it's a certificate, whether it's graduation, whether it's transfer to another institution. With Engage, we manifest that into a success plan. And this might start as early as that initial enrollment, right? They might have to-dos on that plan to submit their residency documents, to submit transcripts, to register for classes. And then at each milestone that we want that student to reach, we're going to present to them a new success plan and new to-dos. While there's a lot of data in Engage, we also recognize that we need to optimize each of our solutions on campus, each product, and then provide connectivity between the two. So for example, if you're using a student information system that enables you to create that web-based direct connect to a contact information, as you might find with Campus Nexus Student, we can certainly embed that link directly into Engage, and through the magical powers of single sign-on, I'm able to go from one experience into the next and continue to learn more about Jason. And so what you can see in front of us now is part of our student information system, where we're able to track Jason's degree pathway. We're able to move things around, ensure that courses are aligned to the right semester, adjust whether he is a full-time or part-time student, and help Jason to really create that path towards success, whether it's transfer, graduation, etc. Now, I told you earlier we were going to come back to this idea of occupation insight and exploration. And as Jason continues to take courses, it is important that he continues to understand how these courses are actually going to apply to skills that employers are looking for. So in this case, I can see as a civil engineer, I need skills in AutoCAD. And so I could then hover over that AutoCAD and actually start to see the classes that I might take at, say, Polk State to earn those skills and to learn those skills so that I'm ready when it comes time to look for a job. This is one of the things I get to talk about it a lot, but I'll give full credit to Ray. This is one of the products that he's been spending a lot of time working on. And we love to see this manifest for our campuses. Pasco Hernando State College recently went live, and they're using this with some of their incoming and even current students. Now, a lot of what I've talked to is how does one person help one student? And the reality is that if we had enough resources to be able to manage our business this way, we wouldn't need to think about technology to optimize, but we know that that's not the case. And so how do we use a solution like the ones we're talking about to automate workflows, to reduce the manual processes that we're seeing our staff do every day, to free up their time to have more intentional conversations and do value-added work to support our students? How do we use the data that we've learned about students individually at scale then to start to intervene and provide them relevant information where needed? Well, one of the ways that we do that is through automated outreach and communications. And you know, if you're like me, one of the things that we've certainly learned over the last 6 months and as we prepare for our next normal is that we're desperate for information and we want to hear it, but we really want to hear it when it's relevant for us and when it gives us information that we need to make a decision. And so what a solution like Engage enables you to do, and really to empower, you know, functional end users in each of the departments, is to create these robust, automated, multi-channel communication plans and strategies so that I can very clearly segment my students and my contacts, and I can schedule out how should I be communicating them? What happens if they don't open that email that I sent them? Maybe I send them a text message. When I'm starting to see their engagement drop, how do I queue up a phone call for an advisor to do some proactive outreach? All of that is possible with these different communication journey builders. And once I send it, of course, you need to be able to measure through all of this, is the work that we're doing paying off? Is the work that we're doing actually resulting in any change? And so for every email or text message that leaves Engage, you'll see deliverability results. Now, this is common, right? I would expect if any of you have interacted with any CRMs in the past or communication tools like Constant Contact or Emma, you're used to seeing this kind of data. Well, one of the things that we get really excited about when we refer to Campus Nexus Engage as a system of intelligence is how do I use this information to make a difference? Well, if I take a bit of a deeper dive into these results, I can actually see the specific time that each person opened up their message. Now, I can see this at a granular level, so I might decide in the future, geez, you know, it seems like people are opening up my messages in the morning, maybe I need to adjust that. But if I know Ray is the kind of guy who he's given me his personal account and he doesn't check his email at all during the day. So I want to make sure that my message is being delivered to him at 6 p.m. Whereas Glenn is an early riser. He's got to get his email cleared out so that he can get out there and start scuba diving. And so I want to make sure that that same message that I send to Ray at 5 p.m. hits Glenn's inbox at 7 a.m. And using our Smart Send technology, I'm able to do that with a click of a button. Now, I think I've got a couple more slides before I give it over to Ray to talk a little bit about some of the power behind the scenes and how we're ensuring that this data is secure and reliable. But what I want to do before I transition is really talk about some of the analytics and data that come out of it. For me, it really starts by giving your frontline staff a tool that is easy to use and helps them be more efficient with their time. And so these dashboards help an advisor to understand what's happening with the student population that they're working with. Who should I call today, and what conversation should I have that would have an impact on that student's ability to persist, at that student's preparation for transfer, at that student's readiness for career. But we know you as administrators need solutions as well. So how do we take this data across the entire platform and start to show you some trends and evolution so that you can do better and have deeper insights when it comes to planning course delivery, preparing new curriculum programs. And again, finally, kind of coming back to our deep relationship with Microsoft technology, surfacing this for you in channels that you're already comfortable with. So whether it is Power BI, like you just saw, manipulating information in Excel, visualizing contact information or Outlook, or one of the things that I find that we use often here is surfacing this data in Teams. So if I'm in a meeting, if I'm having a conversation, I'm not even having to do screen share. You can see that Dynamics, which is the foundation for Campus Nexus Engage, is a channel that I'm able to pull directly into Teams. So that was kind of a high-level flyby of the student experience through a lens of Anthology. Ray, I think I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thanks, Jennifer. So, like Jen said, she talked a lot about the Microsoft stack and how important that is. And as the Anthology product sought to move into the cloud, we chose the Azure Cloud Platform as our platform for delivery. But it's not just our Azure Cloud that we host applications in. It's in cooperation and coordination with your cloud. So we looked at a lot of really cool things today that Jen showed. We saw the power of Outlook, and when you got an email from an individual student, then there was a plugin that came in that showed you all the data from the Engage platform and context to that person and you, and the relationship that you have and the data that it has. That all lives inside of your Microsoft Office 365 tenant. So one of the things that's really important as we move into this new future of cloud computing and looking at the connected campus is that security is one of the most important things. And it's probably one of the reasons why you have data silos to begin with, right? Is because the data has to be protected, whether it's with a department or with a software package or something like that. And we're seeking to break down these silos. So part of the power is using your identity management system through Azure Active Directory to give all of your email accounts and your usernames and your passwords and your access to your data. By leveraging the Microsoft Azure Active Directory, and by having a combination of extending your Office products by having Engage, which is built on Dynamics, which is one of the Office products that uses the Common Data Service to connect all the pieces together, that has your identity that you provide, but then talks back to other applications in the Azure cloud seamlessly, really allows that data to flow and to get that analytics and then provide that innovation that we talked about before. So by having these software systems live both in your native tenant, it gives the ability for you to connect to the things that you're already using, whether it be Microsoft Teams or Outlook or Excel or Power BI, these things that Jennifer talked about before, you're already using them, and now we're extending them, building on top of the infrastructure that you already have. And the way this data is connected, if you'll go to the next slide, is through what we call a graph API. The graph, it's a pretty new term. I mean, cloud's been around for a while, and graph kind of emerged as these data services have emerged over the last few years. But it's built on an industry standard. And it really started a couple of years ago, if you want to go to the next slide, with a couple of graphs that were made pretty popular by Facebook and Twitter. So that developers were able to tap in directly into the data that was happening on their pages, likes on photos, tweets and retweets, and hashtags around messages. This OData standard was created to build this graph API where you could navigate across these nodes of information once you're authenticated. Microsoft, the Office graph, is basically the power behind everything in the Office suite, whether it be Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, Outlook, Task, Planner, Word, PowerPoint. Everything in the Microsoft Office suite is really driven and powered by the Microsoft Graph. Now, Campus Nexus has a graph, and Occupation Insight has a graph. So if we have a single identity, right, our email and our username and our password, and we have access to all of these different data connections, what does that mean in terms of breaking down silos and having data be more aware? Go to the next slide. It works like this. A member of your institution will log into Office 365 like they normally would. And that'll give them access to their tasks, their teams, the organization, the relationships they have with their coworkers, all of the emails that come in. But I use the same username and password to log into my student portal, for example. And when I log into my student portal, now it has an understanding not just of who I am in my organization, but also who I am as a student. What program am I in? What courses have I taken? What courses am I scheduled to take? What's my financial aid look like? What associations do I have? And so what happens is we're able to have these systems talk to each other through this single identity. So when you register for a course, that can then trigger an email that puts a schedule and an event on your calendar, or even add you to a Microsoft team. So you start to have these seamlessly experiences. Just like Outlook can remind you that it's time to register for the next semester. So we can push out important dates that happen in the system, these to-dos that we talked about with success plans, all coming together in ways in which we can remind ourselves, notify, track, inform, and analyze what's happening all around our institution. Because I have access to Occupation Insight, then I know what programs I'm enrolled in, and from the programs I'm enrolled in, I can see what job opportunities are out there, what employers are hiring for the jobs, what skills they're looking for, and then bring that back down into the skills that I'm learning in my individual courses. So by having this graph technology, and by using the identity provider by Microsoft, or using your existing Azure Active Directory identity, we're able to bring all of these different data systems together, keeping them secure, making them more seamless, bringing more data together to visualize, and breaking down these silos across the connected campus. And that's really one of the things that's exciting about this technology, and about some of the things that we've done with Anthology. We started off, when Jennifer and I started working together a couple of years ago, it was really around the student engagement platform, admissions and recruitment and alumni and student success and advancement, the student information system around all the financial aid and the course transcripting and the matriculation of students, the finance, HR, payroll pieces. But now as we've expanded into the Anthology set of products, we move out of just the administrative back-end offices and into the student's forefront of their experiences. And so these data systems that are connected don't just exist in your back office, but are completely aware of the clubs, the organizations, the volunteerism, the assessments that are going on in the classroom, the strategic plans that you have at your institution, the way they're accredited, the way that you're monitoring, measuring your accreditation, as well as the way that you are, you're able to report and make new connections, and then find new data elements that allow you to be innovative and responsive to student needs. So this sort of concludes the bridge between how we are looking at ways in which we can help you, connect data and the relationships on your campus, and how we help keep that information secure. So we'd just like to open it up to questions now to see if there's anybody who has questions about our relationship with Microsoft, our philosophy around the connected campus, or some of the challenges that you all are facing at your institutions. And I'm not seeing anything come through the chat. For those of you who are on the call, there is a chat button within the Zoom call. If you'd like to post a question there, we can respond to the questions. Well, with that said, I think that concludes our presentation. Glenn, did you have anything that you wanted to sum up at the end?
Hi, Ray. Thanks very much. No, I think it was a great presentation. Thank you. I guess what I would say is, this was designed to give you overview or a high understanding of a couple of our solutions, where we're going as an organization, some of the things that we're obviously focusing on in the solutions that we provide. And obviously, a lot of it, the focus is on us being able to work with the state colleges in Florida. That being said, obviously, I would make myself available if anybody on the call wants to have a further discussion, if you want to set up an additional demo, or something that might be a little bit more detailed, get into some deeper dive. We also have the ability to provide a service. We have solution consultants. They're part of our team, and we can come in, we can sit down with you, we can work with you on doing an assessment. And this is a service that we do provide. It's not a chargeable service. It's something that we do because we feel strongly about being able to provide it from a partnership standpoint. So I would make that available to you as well. Again, it's the goal is we can sit down, try and get a better understanding of what some of your current challenges, issues are, get a better handle on, you know, what a future potential solution would look like and how we would work with you. As we mentioned earlier, and I think it was Dr. Beyer mentioned, that obviously we understand that there's a lot of third-party applications that you already are using. And part of what we do as an organization is we understand that our solutions and our portfolio of products have to be able to work seamlessly with other applications that you're already using, whether it's LMS or some other third party. And we also have the ability to work with you at that level as well. That's part of our, again, solution consulting would look at that. We do an analysis, try and figure out what we need to do to work and provide this seamless integration. And also, I will say that we are a full service organization. I don't know if it came across in my initial presentation, but as Anthology, we develop the solutions, we implement them, and we maintain them, and we service them. And we also obviously put them, as Ray mentioned, in the Azure cloud. We're a partnership with Microsoft, and we feel very strongly about it. So it's a full service company. Again, it's one hand to shake, and what we have found by approaching it in this fashion is we're able to really, you know, create a long-term relationship and a level of trust and confidence with our partners and with our customers that is hard to find. I will give you an example of one. We are currently working with Pasco Hernando. They decided to go with our Anthology suite of solutions. They did a long vetting process. They looked at, obviously, some of the competitors on the market. And one of the reason they chose us, we felt, was obviously we thought we offered a very good suite of products and solutions that met their particular needs, especially, again, because of our focusing on community colleges. But one of the other things that came out of it, and other things I've heard from other customers, and in particular community colleges. I have been involved in this space for about 3 or 4 years in community colleges. And we have found that one of the things they like about us is the fact that we are very focused on their needs, on their requirements. They feel that we really try to make it a point to understand what their goals and objectives are, the vision, how we can obviously help them reach those goals and objectives. And also the other thing we've heard is we actually, I know this is going to sound a little strange, but it does come across as an organization, we like each other. We work well together. The people that are in our company, and again, we didn't get into some of the details, but we have people that have been with that company 15, 18 years. If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong here, the average tenure is about 11 years. Is that correct, Ray? You're on mute, sorry.
Yes, I'm on mute.
Yeah.
Actually, we've got one comment in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think that's right, Glenn. I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, and we can go to chat. But again, I think it's just that concept of who we are, what our focus is, and that we are very, very focused on student success. That's what it is for us. It's all about that. And anybody you speak to at our company will tell you that's our primary concern. So Ray, I guess there's a question.
No, it was just Robert Stack said that
Okay.
he spoke to one of the consultants that you mentioned, and it was very enlightening and well worth the time. So sort of a plug and an affirmation for what you were saying before.
Great. Appreciate that. Thank you, Robert. So I guess, I don't know if there's anything else, any other questions, anybody has anything that they would like to ask, feel free. And
Yeah,
again,
I just posted something in the chat, a link to a Forrester ROI impact analysis that was done about Campus Nexus Engage. So if anybody wants more information and wants to dive more deeply into some of the success around Engage from some third-party research, we posted that in the chat as well.
Great. Okay, Charlie, I guess we can wrap it up. Again, thank you very, very much for allowing us to participate. We are very excited about being an affiliate partner with AFC. I think there are great things ahead that we can work together on, and I look forward to the next conference and working with you on that.
Yeah, I want to thank the three of you for joining us today and for sharing all that information, and we look forward to future events. We appreciate your affiliate membership with the AFC.
Thank you.
So we know we'll see you down the road.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody.
For your time.
Thank you.
Bye.